Welcome back to the channel where we talk about rare coins, hidden treasures, and the stories behind the money in your pocket. Today, we are diving deep into a very special coin, the 1963 Lincoln 1-cent penny. Believe it or not, this little copper coin that once could only buy a piece of candy is now worth tens of thousands of dollars to collectors. In fact, one of these rare coins recently made headlines by being valued at a whopping $73,981. That is right, almost 74 grand for a penny. So how is this possible and what should you look out for? Stick around as we take a deep look into the fascinating history, minting process, errors, and collector demand that give this coin its extraordinary value. History of the 1963 Lincoln penny. Let us begin with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in the year 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was designed by Victor David Brenner and was the first U.S. coin to feature the likeness of an actual person. The design originally featured wheat ears on the reverse, which was later replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial design, in honor of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Now, the 1963 Lincoln cent was minted at two major mints, Philadelphia and Denver. The coin we are focusing on today is the one struck at the Denver Mint, which you can identify by the small letter D located under the date on the coin's obverse. Over 1.7 billion of these coins were minted at the Denver facility that year, so at first glance, this does not sound very rare. But as we will soon find out, rarity is not just about how many were made, it is about how many remain in pristine condition or with unique characteristics that set them apart. What makes the 1963 Lincoln penny valuable, you might be asking yourself? Why would anyone pay such an enormous amount of money for a coin that was so commonly produced? Great question. The value of a coin like this lies in a combination of factors including mint errors, condition or grade, historical interest, and demand among collectors. One of the biggest contributors to value in the case of the 1963 penny is the presence of rare minting errors. Some coins from this year have been discovered with double die obverse. That means the design elements like the date or the lettering appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. These errors are highly collectible and can increase a coin's value by thousands of dollars. There are also examples of off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and even die cracks that can be found on some of these coins. All of these variations make the coin more desirable to collectors who are always on the lookout for something unusual or one of a kind. Grading and condition. Why mint state matters. Perhaps the most important factor when it comes to this penny's high value is its condition. Most pennies from 1963 have been circulated, which means they show signs of wear and tear. They might have scratches, dullness, or be discolored from years of handling, but when a coin is found in mint state, meaning it has never been circulated and shows no wear, its value can skyrocket. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service or the Numismatic Guarantee Company. A coin graded MS-67 or higher is considered incredibly rare for its year. The $73,981 example we are talking about today was in an extremely high mint state grade, with blazing red luster and perfect detail. That is what drove the price up at auction, current market value and collector interest. So let us talk about the market. What is this coin worth today? While most circulated 1963 Lincoln pennies are only worth face value, or perhaps a few cents more, uncirculated examples can be worth several dollars. Coins with mint errors or high grades are worth much more. Depending on the condition and presence of rare features, the value can range from a few $100s all the way up to that eye-popping $73,981 figure we mentioned earlier. Collectors and investors are paying close attention to these coins. In the last decade, the popularity of coin collecting has seen a major resurgence thanks to online marketplaces, coin grading services, and YouTube channels just like this one. Demand for rare pennies like the 1963 is growing and prices are going up accordingly. What to look for in your pocket change? Here is the best part. you might already have one of these valuable pennies sitting in your jar of spare change. If you want to check, here is what you should look for. First, find a 1963 penny with the letter D under the date. Next, check the coin's condition. Does it still shine like new? Is there little to no wear on the details of Lincoln's face and the memorial on the reverse? If so, you may have an uncirculated coin. Now grab a magnifying glass and look closely at the date and lettering. Do you see any signs of doubling or overlapping impressions? That could be a double die. Also check the D mint mark for signs of repunching. It may look like there is a second D beneath the first. If you find any of these features, your penny might be worth more than you think. Where to sell and get your coin graded if you believe you have a valuable 1963 D penny. The next step is to have it professionally graded. Submitting it to a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC will give your coin an official grade and authenticity certificate, which is essential for serious buyers. You can then list your coin for sale through auction houses like Heritage Auctions or online platforms such as eBay. Remember that buyers are much more confident when purchasing coins that have been officially graded and authenticated. So there you have it. The story of how a tiny copper coin from 1963 could be worth nearly $74,000 today. It is a powerful reminder that history lives in the smallest of places, even in a penny. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just curious about the coins in your pocket, keep your eyes open. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more fascinating coin stories. Drop a comment if you have a rare penny or if you are just starting out in coin collecting. We would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here and you love coins, rare finds, and uncovering hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, then make sure to hit that subscribe button because today we are talking about one of the most incredible pennies you might have sitting in your change jar right now. Yes, we are diving deep into the story of the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that looks incredibly ordinary at first glance, but could actually be worth a staggering $54,946. That's right, a single penny potentially worth tens of thousands of dollars, and today I'm going to explain how that's possible, the fascinating history behind the coin, how to identify if you might have one, and what gives it such incredible value in today's coin collecting market. So without further ado, let's get right into it now. The first thing to understand is that the 1976 Lincoln cent was minted during a very interesting time in American coinage history. The year 1976 marked the bicentennial of the United States, and while the quarter, half dollar, and dollar coins all received special bicentennial designs, the penny did not. It continued with the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which had been in use since 1959, but despite not getting a commemorative design in 1976, the Lincoln penny still holds a fascinating place in numismatic history because of certain rare varieties and errors that make some of these coins extremely valuable today. Now let's talk about the mint marks. Most 1976 Lincoln cents were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins minted in Philadelphia typically do not have a mint mark, which is standard practice for many denominations minted in Philly at the time. So you might be wondering what makes a no mint mark penny from 1976 so special if most Philadelphia coins have no mint mark anyway. Well, here's the twist. While it's true that the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, the high value of certain 1976 no mint mark pennies does not come from the mint mark itself. Instead, it comes from other factors, such as extremely high grade condition, rare die errors, or small production runs that make a specific version of the coin highly collectible. Let's talk about the main reasons why a 1976 no mint mark penny could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. First up is condition. In the coin world, condition is everything. A coin that has been in circulation for years will show signs of wear, which decreases its value significantly. On the other hand, a coin that has been preserved in mint state condition, meaning it looks almost exactly the way it did when it left the mint, can fetch huge premiums from collectors. Grading services like PCGS and NGC rate coins on a 70-point scale, and a 1976 Lincoln penny graded at MS-67 or MS-68 red is considered extremely high grade, and rare. Only a small number of these coins have been found in such pristine condition, and here's where it gets exciting. One such example of a 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in MS-67 red condition was sold for a jaw-dropping $54,946 at auction. That's right, a single penny that someone likely paid only 1 cent for ended up being worth almost $55,000 simply because it was preserved in excellent condition and verified by a trusted grading service. Now, another major factor that drives up the value of coins like this is errors. There are several types of minting errors that can occur, and some of them can dramatically increase a coin's value. For example, double die errors, off-center strikes, and planchet issues can all make a coin unique and highly sought after by collectors. Although the $54,000 penny is valued primarily because of its perfect condition, it's worth checking your 1976 pennies for any signs of errors, because those too can increase the coin's worth by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So, how do you know if your 1976 penny is one of the valuable ones? Here's what to look for. Start with the color. Lincoln cents are made from 95% copper and tend to turn brown over time, but a high-grade red specimen, meaning it has retained its original coppery luster without turning brown, is much more desirable. Next, check the condition under a bright light or magnifying glass. Look for sharp detail, especially around Lincoln's face, and the lettering no visible wear or scratches is a good sign. And if you think you might have a perfect or near perfect coin, the next step is to send it to a professional grading service for authentication and grading. Now, let's talk a bit about the market and why people are willing to pay such high prices for coins like this. Rare coins have always attracted collectors, investors, and historians because they represent a piece of history and are often tangible assets that can gain value over time. In the case of the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, it's the combination of rarity, condition, and historical context that drives its market value. While not every 1976 penny is worth thousands, it is absolutely worth taking the time to check your coins, because lightning can strike and people really do find valuable coins in everyday change. And who wouldn't want to turn a single penny into enough money to buy a car or even put a down payment on a house? To wrap things up, here are a few final tips. Always check your change, especially older pennies from the 1970s and 1980s. Keep an eye out for that original red color and sharp detail. Handle coins by the edges to avoid adding fingerprints or scratches, and when in doubt, consider submitting your coin to a grading service. You never know what you might be holding in your hands. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content about rare and valuable coins, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or if you'll be checking your 1976 pennies after watching this. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck treasure hunting. Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and history lovers, because today we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatics, and that's the tale of the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent coin with no mint mark, a coin that has shocked collectors around the world with its rarity, mystery, and jaw-dropping value. Today, this unassuming penny can fetch as much as $95,407 on the open market, and yes, you heard that right, for a single penny. Let's start from the beginning. The year was 1981. Ronald Reagan had just taken office as President of the United States. IBM released its first personal computer, and MTV aired its very first music video. It was a time of change in culture, technology, and politics, but also quietly a significant moment in the world of coin collecting was being minted. Quite literally, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for over 70 years, having first been issued in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent was the first regular-issue United States coin to feature the portrait of a real person, and not just any person, but one of the most beloved presidents in American history. By 1981, the penny had undergone several subtle changes, but the biggest transition was just around the corner, because in 1982, the United States Mint would change the composition of the Lincoln cent from 95% copper to a predominantly zinc coin with only a thin copper coating due to rising copper prices, but that's 1982. What we're talking about today is the rare 1981 penny, and what makes it so special. In 1981, the United States Mint was producing coins at three primary locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Denver bore a small d under the date. San Francisco coins bore an S, and typically coins from the Philadelphia Mint had no mint mark at all. That wasn't unusual. In fact, prior to 1980, Philadelphia pennies never carried a mint mark, but here's where things get mysterious. While most 1981 no mint mark pennies are common and worth only face value, there is a rare error variety that has stunned experts and collectors alike, and this variety is why one 1981 penny sold for $95,407 at auction. So what makes this version so incredibly valuable? Well, it all comes down to something called a transitional error. This happens when a coin is struck using a die or a blank planchet from a different year or composition than intended with the 1981 no mint mark penny. The error lies in the mix of old and new die technology and possibly the wrong metal composition. Remember, the mint was preparing for the big switch in 1982, so experimental planchets may have been tested as early as late 1981. Some believe that a small batch of experimental copper or zinc planchets with incorrect metallurgical compositions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Using outdated or test dies, this rare mix of events created a micro run of pennies with minute but distinct variations in weight, color, edge, sharpness, and strike clarity. Professional coin graders discovered one such specimen with remarkable detail: razor-sharp strike and a faint but critical error in its design, which instantly caught the attention of top numismatists. The coin was authenticated, graded, and assigned a nearly perfect mint state score, which is incredibly rare for a penny that old and from general circulation. And so the bidding war began. Collectors from across the world jumped at the chance to own a piece of mysterious mint history, a small copper relic that represents a perfect storm of timing, craftsmanship, and oversight. Eventually, the coin sold for a staggering $95,407, setting a new benchmark in modern penny collecting history. Now, you may be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these rare 1981 no mint mark Lincoln cents? First, grab a scale. The standard copper penny from 1981 should weigh about 3.11 grams. If you find one that weighs closer to 2.5 grams, it may be struck on a zinc planchet ahead of its time. Next, examine the coin under magnification. Look for extremely crisp details, especially in Lincoln's hair and beard, in the word liberty, and in the phrase "in God we trust." Errors in these areas often suggest die variations or early experimental strikes. Also, pay attention to the rim and the edge of the coin, which may show slight doubling or mismatched details consistent with transitional mint errors. And of course, if you think you may have a candidate, don't clean it, don't handle it excessively, and absolutely get it graded by a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC, as this step can make the difference between a 1-cent find and a life-changing discovery. So let's talk about value once more. Currently, in 2025, the record-setting price remains at $95,407 for a single specimen in mint state condition. However, coins in slightly lower grades or with less dramatic variations have still sold for thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars in auctions, private sales, and collector-to-collector trades. And with more people becoming aware of this unique coin and checking their jars, drawers, and coin rolls, you never know where the next great discovery will come from. Maybe your old change jar holds the next six-figure coin. To wrap it all up, the 1981 no mint mark Lincoln cent is a perfect reminder that history often hides in plain sight, and that even the most common coin can carry an extraordinary story. So check your change, keep your eyes open, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next collector to strike copper gold with a tiny 1-cent coin that's worth over $95,000. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into rare coins, valuable collectibles, and hidden treasures from history. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your pocket change be full of surprises. Welcome back to the channel where we explore rare coins, hidden treasures, and everything valuable hiding in plain sight. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting and mysterious coins in American numismatic history, the legendary 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny that sold for over $50,000. That's right. A small copper-colored coin that many people overlook every single day could be hiding in your pocket change. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify this coin, and why it's worth so much money in today's market. Let's start with a little history. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909. It was created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth and was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. The design has evolved over the years, but the obverse, or front, has always shown Lincoln's portrait. The reverse has gone through several changes, from wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial and, more recently, the Union Shield. But in 1982, something very unusual happened. That year was a transitional period for the U.S. Mint. Due to rising copper prices, the government decided to change the composition of the penny. Up until 1982, Lincoln cents were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But that year, the mint began producing pennies made of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. In 1982, both copper and zinc pennies were made. And that's not all. That year also saw multiple variations of the Lincoln cent. In total, there were 7 different varieties of the 1982 penny. These included large date and small date versions, both in copper and zinc, and from different mint locations. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most coins minted in Philadelphia at the time did not carry a mint mark. That's normal. But there was one incredibly rare exception, the 1982 D small date copper penny. This coin, made in Denver, should have had a D mint mark. But one extremely rare version does not. This coin is known as the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny, struck in copper with a small date design. Only one known example has been authenticated so far, and it sold for a staggering $50,381 at auction. How did this happen? Experts believe it was a mint error, a rare mistake where a Denver minted coin was struck with a small date die and somehow left without the D mint mark. A one-of-a-kind mix-up that turned a common penny into a numismatic treasure. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have this rare coin? Well, here's what to look for. First, check the date. It should say 1982. Next, look closely at the shape of the numbers. If the 2 has a curved base and the 8 looks slimmer, you may have a small date version. Then check the weight. Use a digital scale if you have one. The copper version weighs about 3.11 grams. The zinc version weighs around 2.5 grams. If your coin says 1982, has a small date design, weighs about 3.11 grams, and has no mint mark at all, you might have a rare and valuable penny on your hands. Now, let's talk about the current market value. As of this year, the one known 1982 no mint mark small date copper penny holds a record auction price of $50,381. Yes, over 50 grand for a single penny, and the exciting part is, it's believed that more of these coins could be out there. Maybe in an old coin jar. Maybe in a forgotten drawer. Maybe in your change right now. Collectors and dealers across the country are on the lookout for this coin, and if another one turns up, it could fetch an even higher price depending on its condition and demand at the time. This is what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Sometimes the rarest and most valuable items are hiding in plain sight. You don't need to be a millionaire to get started. You just need to pay attention. Now that you know what to look for, go check your change, dig through those old penny jars, and see what treasures you might find. If you think you've found a 1982 no mint mark small date copper penny, have it checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication is key when it comes to rare coins, especially one that could change your life financially. Before we wrap up, here's a quick recap. The 1982 Lincoln cent comes in several varieties, but only one is known to be a 1982 small date copper penny with no mint marked. It weighs about 3.11 grams, has a small date design, and is made of copper. Only one has been authenticated so far, and it sold $4.50. $3.81. More could be out there, and that's why collectors everywhere are paying close Attention to 1982 pennies. So get searching, stay curious, and who knows, you might just be holding onto a small fortune. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a treasure hunting tip. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck out there. Have you ever checked the change in your pocket and wondered if that old penny might be worth something? What if I told you that a simple 1-cent coin from 1998, with a tiny D mint mark under the date, could be worth up to $42,892 today? Sounds unbelievable, right? But hang on, because this is not just another coin collecting story. This is a fascinating journey into the world of rare coins, minting errors, and a collector's dream come true. Let's dive into the history, value, and mystery surrounding the 1998 D Lincoln penny. You might want to check your piggy bank after this video to start. Let's rewind a little. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909. It was introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin became an instant classic. Over the years, there have been many changes to the design, metal composition, and mint marks. But some of the most fascinating aspects of coin collecting come from what were never meant to happen at all. I'm talking about errors, rare mintages, and coins that were struck under unusual circumstances. Now, the 1998 Lincoln penny was minted in large numbers. Over 5 billion pennies were produced that year across different mints. The Denver Mint, which is indicated by the D mint mark on the coin, contributed significantly to that total. At first glance, a 1998 D penny seems like the most ordinary coin in the world. You might pass it off without a second thought. But certain versions of this coin are now commanding astronomical prices in the market. So what's the deal? The secret lies in what collectors call anomalies or errors. These are tiny differences in the way a coin is struck. They can include double dies, off-center strikes, missing elements, and more. One of the most famous Lincoln penny errors is the wide AM reverse. Between 1998 and 2000, the United States Mint mistakenly used the proof reverse die on some circulation strike coins. This created a subtle but important difference in the spacing of the letters A and M in the word America on the back of the coin. Most 1998 pennies have a close AM, where the letters nearly touch. But in the rare wide AM variety, there's a visible gap between the A and the M. That tiny difference can mean the coin is worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But when you combine that with a 1998 D mint mark, the stakes are even higher. Very few examples of the 1998 D wide AM penny are known to exist. In fact, some collectors consider it a ghost coin because of how rare it is. When one of these coins comes up for auction, it can cause a frenzy. Collectors and dealers alike compete fiercely for the chance to own one. One verified example reportedly sold for an astonishing $42,892. And yes, that is for a single penny, but here's what you need to know if you're hoping to find one. First, flip the coin over and look at the back. Focus on the word America. Check the spacing between the A and the M. If there's a noticeable gap, you might just have a wide AM. Then, look for the D mint mark under the year. If both features match, you could be holding one of the rarest pennies ever made. Now, before you get too excited, remember that verifying a rare coin takes expertise. Many coins appear to have differences due to wear and tear or damage. Professional grading and authentication are crucial. Services like PCGS or NGC can certify a coin and provide an accurate grade, which affects its value. Market value also depends on condition. A coin in mint state with a high grade, like MS67 or higher, will fetch the biggest bucks. A circulated coin with signs of wear will still have value, but not nearly as much. That $42,000 price tag was for a pristine, professionally graded coin with undeniable rarity. So why is this coin so valuable? It comes down to rarity, demand, and the thrill of the hunt. Coin collectors are always searching for unique pieces to complete their sets. When a rare variety like the 1998 D wide AM is discovered, especially in great condition, the value skyrockets. It's not just about the metal or the design. It's about the story, the mistake, the mystery behind it. That's what makes this penny so legendary, and it's not the only Lincoln cent with surprising value. There are many other years and mint marks with hidden treasures waiting to be found. The key is to pay attention to the small details and never assume a coin is worthless just because it's a penny. Next time you get change from the store, take a second and look closely. That 1 cent could be worth thousands. The 1998 D penny is proof that hidden treasures are still out there, sometimes sitting unnoticed in our pockets or coin jars. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more hidden coin stories, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin yourself. Who knows, maybe you've been carrying a fortune in your wallet all along. Thanks for watching and happy coin hunting!